Hello everyone out there on the YouTubes. I'm Matt, this is Slightly Cross-Threaded, and today we're talking fuel systems. These are the main components of my F100's fuel system. I'm going to be the first to admit it's a little unconventional how I'm doing this, but I'm going to explain why we're using this setup. The truck itself is a 1980 F100, but it's on an 08 Crown Vic P71 chassis. So that's the 4.6, that's the 8.8 out back, that's all cop suspension, cop tires, cop brakes, all the good stuff. So I really didn't like the look of the Crown Vic gas tank. I didn't like where it sat. I didn't like how it mounted, and I really just didn't like the overall whole setup of it. So we're doing something a little bit different here. So here we have the gas tank. This fits a 1970 Ford Mustang. And I really like this style of tank, especially when you're doing it in a truck or something like that, because you can mount it really slick. It's got these perimeter bolts all around it. I can make my mounts. I can drill and tap my holes or run a bolt and nut it, however I want to do it. Throw some anti-squeak strips in, and it's isolated. I'm going to have to do something with the filler neck. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. I might relocate it. I may make something kind of custom. I want to use a hidden filler, so probably go behind one of the tail lights, and I'll probably end up using one of Kindig's super slick gas caps that he makes. For getting fuel out of the tank and telling my gauge how much fuel is in the tank, I've got this. Both these are from Dynacorn, and this is a 3/8 1970 Mustang sending unit. It's got the little level sender, it's got the little filter, so it's all good. It's going to go right in. Now, I could have gone with an EFI tank from like Holley, Aeromotive, Tanks Inc. I could have called Rick's down in the States and had a custom tank made with whatever fuel pumps I wanted. I could have used a Holley or an Aeromotive retrofit pump that goes right in the factory sending unit location. But I didn't want to. I wanted to do kind of a different setup. If you're using a high horsepower application, like over 1,000, Rick's is definitely worth a call. All the other ones I mentioned, you'll be good between, say, 600-800 horsepower. Depends if you have a carburetor, EFI, if you're running boost or not, and if you're running ethanol or just regular gas. So you've got tons of options. It all depends on what you're building and where you want to be. And all those options would have been fine for this. I could have gone this way, but I'm doing something a little different, and I wanted to try something else. I wanted to try this. Now this is a surge tank from Performance World, or as I'm going to call them from now on, PW. Actually, the vast majority of my fuel system is from PW. It's a brand we tend to use a lot. It's affordable, and they make some really nice stuff. This has two 340 liter per hour pumps built inside of it. You can buy it without the pump, so you can put whatever you want in, like a 225, 250, one of their Hellcat pump, or a pair of their Hellcat pumps, whatever. But I ordered it all pre-set up, so I can just pull it right out of the box and start plumbing it. Now, as you can see, it's got 5-6 inlets in the wiring harness, and I know what you're thinking. -6 does seem a little bit small to support 1,500 horsepower. But that's why we're going to do this. We're going to try it out and we're going to see if it actually works. It's the whole point of trying stuff before I recommend to customers, this is what you should be doing. Now there's 3 ways to plumb this up, and I'll put it on the screen. I'm going to use the circled one with the two 10 micron post filters after the rail. Now the hardest part of this is going to be plumbing it up and finding a spot for it. My turbo is going to live at the back on the passenger side. So my booster and my brake and all my clutch stuff is going to be on, obviously, the firewall on the driver's side. So I figure this is going to live behind the headlight on the driver's side, somewhere around there. I want it away from heat. I want it away from everything else. But I want to be able to plumb into my regulator and my filters and all that easily. So that remains to be seen exactly where this is going to sit, but we'll figure that out later. Now the rest is very, very simple. This is a 255 liter per hour inline pump that's going to mount on my frame as close to the tank as possible, but also below it. So lowest point is going to be this pump. It comes with your fittings, it comes with your mounting stuff. This is also from Performance World, and it's a great little affordable unit. 255 liters per hour is going to be more than enough to supply that surge tank with all the fuel it's going to need before the internal pumps push it to the engine. Before that, and this is very important, we're going to run a 100 micron filter. This is going to catch any crap that's coming out of the tank before it gets to the pump, and it's going to ensure the pump has a very long life. This is also from PW, and they take an O-ring fitting on both sides, and you can get a slick little bracket to mount it to your frame. It's an awesome little filter. Now, if you're doing something like an LS swap, and you need about 58 PSI at your rails, you can go with something like this. This is based off what the C6 Corvette has factory. I know Wix makes them. This one's also from Performance World. This one came with the fittings. It's a regulator and filter all in one, and it's preset to 58 PSI. You've got your inlet, you got your outlet, and you got your return there. So slap a couple fittings on, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about an external regulator. This is your regulator. I like having a little bit more control when it comes to stuff, so I went with something else. Now my regulator is a Performance World boost reference one. It's got port there for inlet, port there for inlet, port there for return, and it's got your boost reference right there. So as boost climbs, this will increase fuel pressure to keep everything happy. And the last piece of the puzzle is just more filtration, because you can never have enough. I have 2 of these 10 micron filters from Performance World, and they're going to go right after my rails before the regulator. So something similar to that. Again, the diagram, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere just so you can see. So by now I assume you've gotten the hints of exactly where I'm going with this build and why I'm kind of overkilling it. I believe in building stuff for what you're going to have, not what you have right now. And a lot of times that works out really well. The 4.6 in the truck right now, it's got about 300-some thousand kilometers on it, and it's probably not gonna like much boost before the rods decide to head out. And when that happens, I got something a little spicy going in. I got 3 options. I'm not gonna tell you what those are, but 1,500 horsepower capable surge tank should give you some ideas. I guess you're just going to have to keep tuning in to see what I eventually end up doing when I fire a rod through the hood. Now, I know I haven't touched on the fuel rails or the injectors. That's because my intake and my fuel rails are actually back ordered, like a lot of stuff with Edelbrock right now. And when they get in, I'll do another video. That might be in building the turbo setup. That might be with plumbing the fuel system, which is going to be a whole nother list of stuff, and how I'm going to do it to keep everything clean and organized and looking great. But I don't really want to get into that right now. We're going to focus on just getting all these main components in and mocked up, and I'll do another video as we're doing that. So for what you've seen in this video, I'm right around $1,600 before tax in Maple Leaf money. I order everything through my local speed shop. And remember to support your local speed shop. They are a wealth of knowledge as long as they have someone good behind the counter. Call them, pop in, start talking to them, get a dialogue going, tell them what you're building. Because a lot of times just picking stuff and randomly adding to your cart online is where build problems are going to start. So always make sure, if you can, become friends with your speed shop. It's going to help you in the long run. If you're in the Maritimes and you've seen anything you like here, give Blue Buzzard Performance in Liverpool, Nova Scotia a call. They can help you out. They can walk you through sorting out your fuel system. And like I said, wealth of knowledge a lot of times. This has been Slightly Cross-Threaded. I've been Matt. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media. Same for Blue Buzzard. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram. Like, subscribe, do whatever YouTube stuff you're supposed to do, or not. I'm not your boss. You do whatever you want. I'm just honestly doing this to show people how some stuff works and, you know, document my own builds. See you next time for more build shenanigans and more parts and just all around fun. Have a good one.